mahusay. Hello everyone, this is Teacher Yan again and welcome to Yan ang Mathusay. Last time we talked about the difference of two squares. If you haven't watched it yet, I recommend you to watch it first. For today's episode, we are to continue our discussion about special products. We are to discuss specifically about the square of binomials. To prepare you and to help you solve faster the lesson we have for today, let us do the drill on perfect squares. All we need to do is to square the counting numbers from 1 to 15. The exponent 2 means that you are to multiply the number by itself. Are you ready? If you are, follow after me. Let's begin. 1 squared is equal to 1, 2 squared equals 4, 3 squared equals 9, 4 squared equals 16, 5 squared equals 25, 6 squared equals 36, 7 squared equals 49, 8 squared equals 64, 9 squared equals 81, 10 squared equals 100, 11 squared equals 121, 12 squared equals 144, 13 squared equals 169, 14 squared equals 196, 15 squared equals 225. Let us not forget our perfect squares. We have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, 196, 225. They are very useful in your square of binomials. Alright, let us continue our review on the difference of two squares. Let us solve the quantity of 12x minus 7 times 12x plus 7. The quantity of negative 5y plus 13x times the quantity of 5y plus 13x. The quantity of 2x plus 14 times the quantity of 2x minus 14. For example number 1, we have the quantity of 12x minus 7 times 12x plus 7. Using FOIL method, first we multiply the first terms, 12x times 12x. Then our outer terms, plus the quantity of 12x times 7. Then the inner terms, we have plus the quantity of negative 7 times 12x. Then the last terms, we have plus negative 7 times positive 7. Simplify, we have 144x squared plus 84x minus 84x minus 49. Our middle term can be cancelled out. And our final answer is 144x squared minus 49. But if you have noticed, we have a pattern. And the other way, without using your FOIL, we can have the quantity of 12x minus 7 times 12x plus 7 is equal to square the first term, get the square of the first term, we have the quantity of 12x, closed quantity squared, copy the negative sign as a result of multiplying negative and positive, and then get the square of the last term, which is 7 squared. Simplify, we have 144x squared minus 49. Notice that both ways have able to come up with the same answer. For our example number 2, we have the quantity of negative 5y plus 13x times the quantity of 5y plus 13x. Using the rule, we get to square the first term. We have the quantity of 5y squared. Then, copy the negative sign. So, we have to put it before our first term because our opposite signs are found in the first term. So we have negative times the quantity of 5y closed quantity squared plus and then get the square of the last term. We have the quantity of 13x closed quantity squared. Our final answer is equal to negative 25y squared plus 169x squared. And that is our final answer. For number 3, we have the quantity of 2x plus 14 times 2x minus 14 is equal to, get the square of the first term. We have the quantity of 2x closed quantity squared. Copy the negative sign and then get the square of the last term. We have 14 squared. Our final answer is 4x squared minus 196. When a binomial is multiplied by itself, it is called a perfect square, such that the quantity of a plus b closed quantity squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. The other one is the quantity of a minus b closed quantity squared is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. The product of the square of binomials is a perfect square trinomial. Remember that in square of binomials, the quantity of x minus 4 times x minus 4 can also be written as the quantity of x minus 4 closed quantity squared. Let us solve the following binomials. The quantity of x plus 6 times x plus 6, the quantity of x minus 8y quantity squared, the quantity of 4x plus 3y quantity squared, the quantity of 3x minus 5 times 3x minus 5, and the quantity of 12ab minus 5 quantity squared. We can still apply the FOIL method when we square binomials, but we will also discover a special rule that can be applied to make this process easier. The rule for square of binomials states that the square of a binomial is the sum of the square of the first terms twice the product of the two terms and the square of the last term. Given, for instance, we have the quantity of a plus b quantity squared. Square the first term, that is a squared, twice the product of the two terms, that is 2ab. Square the last term, that is b squared. So, the product of a square of binomial is a perfect square trinomial, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Let us take a look at the given example. The quantity of x plus 6 times x plus 6. This is an example of square of binomials. Now, using your FOIL method, we can come up with the answer, which is equal to x squared plus 12x plus 36, a perfect square trinomial. Take a look at this. When we apply the rule, we can have the quantity of x plus 6 closed quantity squared is equal to square the first term, we have x squared. And then, twice the product of the two terms, we have plus the quantity 2 times 6 times x. And last, we square the last term. Our last term is positive 6, so that is plus quantity 6 squared. And our final answer is x squared plus 12x plus 36. So we have similar answer with the FOIL method. For number 2, we have the quantity of x minus 8y closed quantity squared is equal to square the first term, we have x squared, plus twice the product of the two terms, we have 2 times x times negative 8y, plus square the last term, we have the quantity of negative 8y closed quantity squared. Then we simplify. is equal to x squared plus the quantity of negative 16xy plus the quantity of negative 8 squared y squared is equal to, our final answer is x squared minus 16xy plus 64y squared. Example number 3, we have the quantity of 4x plus 3y closed quantity squared is equal to, square the first term, we have the quantity of 4x closed quantity squared plus twice the product of the two terms. We have 2 times 4x times 3y plus square the last term. We have the quantity of 3y closed quantity squared. Simplify, we have 4 squared x squared plus the quantity of 24xy plus 3 squared y squared. And our final answer is 16x squared plus 24xy plus 9y squared. In example number 4, we have the quantity of 3x minus 5 closed quantity squared is equal to, square the first term, we have the quantity of 3x closed quantity squared plus twice the product of the two terms. We have 2 times 3x times negative 5 plus square the last term. We have the quantity of negative 5 closed quantity squared is equal to 3 squared x squared plus the quantity of negative 30x plus 25. And our final answer is 9x squared minus 30x plus 25. Number 5, we have the quantity of 12ab minus 5 closed quantity squared is equal to, square the first term, we have the quantity of 12ab closed quantity squared plus twice the product of the two terms. We have 2 times 12ab times negative 5 plus square the last term. We have the quantity of negative 5 squared is equal to 12 squared a squared b squared plus the quantity of negative 120ab plus 25. And our final answer is 144a squared b squared minus 120ab plus 25. Now it's your turn. Solve. The quantity of x minus 12y quantity squared. The quantity of x minus 12y closed quantity squared is equal to, square the first term, we have x squared plus twice the product of the two terms, we have 2 times x times negative 12y plus square the last term, we have the quantity of negative 12y closed quantity squared. Simplify, we have x squared plus the quantity of negative 24xy plus the quantity of negative 12 closed quantity squared y squared. And our final answer is x squared minus 24xy plus 144y squared. Your turn. Solve. The quantity of 3x plus 11 quantity squared. The quantity of 3x plus 11 closed quantity squared is equal to, square the first term, we have the quantity of 3x closed quantity squared plus twice the product of the two terms, we have the quantity of 2 times 3x times 11 plus square the last term, we have the quantity of 11 squared. Simplify, we have 3 squared x squared plus 66x plus 121. Our final answer is 9x squared plus 66x plus 121. Let us take a look at the given examples and study the pattern for our square of binomials. We have the quantity of a plus b closed quantity squared is equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. The other one is the quantity of a minus b closed quantity squared is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. For example number 1, we have the quantity of x plus 6 times x plus 6 is equal to, square the first term, our first term is x, that becomes x squared. Twice the product of the two terms, we have x times 6, that is 6x times 2, that is positive 12x. And get the square of the last term, we have 6 squared, that becomes positive 36. For example number 2, we have the quantity of x minus 8y closed quantity squared. Square the first term, that is x squared. Get the product of the two terms and then multiply by 2. So we have x times negative 8y, that becomes negative 8xy times 2, resulting to negative 16xy. And then square the last term, we have negative, the quantity of negative 8y closed quantity squared, that is positive 64y squared. So our answer is x squared minus 16xy plus 64y squared. Same goes through with number 3. We have the quantity of 4x plus 3y closed quantity squared. Square the first term, that becomes 16x squared. Get the product of the two terms and then multiply it by 2. We have 4x times 3y, that becomes 12xy times 2, 24xy. And then square the last term. We have the quantity of 3y closed quantity squared, that becomes 9y squared. Our answer is 16x squared plus 24xy plus 9y squared. And for number 4, we have the quantity of 3x minus 5 times 3x minus 5. Square the first term, that is 9x squared. And then 3x times negative 5, that becomes negative 15x times 2, that is negative 30x. And square the last term, negative 5 squared is positive 25. For number 5, we have the quantity of 12ab minus 5 quantity squared. Square the first term, we have 12 squared, that is 144. A squared and then b squared. Then get the product of the two terms. 12ab times negative 5, that becomes negative 60ab times 2, that becomes negative 120ab. And then square the last term, negative 5, that becomes positive 25. So our answer is 144a squared b squared minus 120ab plus 25. Solve the following square of binomials. We have the quantity of 2x minus 7 closed quantity squared, the quantity of negative 2y plus 14x closed quantity squared, the quantity of 6x plus 15 closed quantity squared, and post your answers on the comment section. For our Yan ang Mathusay Special Products lesson, we will discuss next sum of two cubes. Thanks for watching. For more Yan ang Mathusay lesson episodes, please don't forget to click like, subscribe, and hit the bell button and share. Again, this is Teacher Yan. See you on our next lesson.